What's up guys, Itchy here. It's theory testing time. So as you can see, the new beasts were released and we are going to try this out and see if this works out to the best of our abilities. So as you can see here, I am using a 6-star Behemoth leader and a Felneus leader, and this is going to be pretty interesting because as you can see, the leader skills are Blinding Light, huge boost in damage dealt during Spark, and Ares Light, huge boost in BB gauge fill rate. So as you can see here, the idea is going to be able to get the most out of this by getting tons of spark damage and getting those Brave Bursts as fast as possible. Now both of these monsters do have their Super Brave Burst, so we're going to see how that works as well. I'm really excited to get this going and see what happens. So this is my first time actually testing this. I didn't want to screw this up because I don't have a lot of Felneus friends, and this was going to be something that was going to take a few different tries before I got it right, but I figured I'd do it on camera just because you guys can learn along with me. So the basic idea is to get those Super Brave Bursts as fast as possible. Now obviously that's not going to happen on the first level here, or if it does, that would be nice. Most likely what I'll do is if I don't get a lot of progress here on the first attack, I will just go ahead and do one guy at a time here instead of doing all of them. But as you can see right there, one set of attacks, 2 down, and Behemoth already has his Brave Burst on his way to a Super Brave Burst. So now I'm going to switch to just one at a time, and we're going to see if we can't get some more Brave Burst going here. Tons of spark. So right there, we almost have our Super Brave Burst, and we have all of our other Brave Bursts, so this should be pretty nice once we get to the next fight here. And I'm also trying to figure out an attack pattern that's going to work out the best with Spark. I'm not sure if I want to put the 2 beasts first, or if I want to use the Gun Goddesses first, and it looks like the beasts take a while to attack, so it might be best to put them out first. But either way, I'm going to also be figuring out one other part when it comes to Felneus and Behemoth, and that is, do you have to wait for the buff to actually set in before you use it, or will it actually just happen on its own? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to use them separately and see and let the buff take effect and then use the Sarens, and then we'll see if we get our full Brave Burst back just from using that. And we're going against 4 enemies here, so not the highest amount of enemies, but still should be pretty interesting. So I'll go ahead and use Behemoths. So now we're going to get the increase in spark damage just from that, on top of his leader skill, which is pretty awesome. I forgot it's going to kill them. Alright, that's not going to work that way. Okay, so note to self, don't kill off the enemy first. Luckily we have 11 tries here, so this should all come together eventually. So what I'll do is I'll target one at a time here, and I'll get a Mega Behemoth's Brave Burst back. And then I'm just going to use everything because I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to test, because I am just too strong. I'm going to end up killing these things. And the problem is Behemoth is only like level 17 right now, but these enemies are so weak that it just doesn't matter. I may actually have to test this on a higher up level or wait until Behemoth is a higher level, but either way, let's just see what we can do right now. So that time I sent out the Beast second, and it looks like they did get there in time for a majority of the spark, so I may do it that way anyway. I mean, Behemoth does have a bit of a far ways to travel to get to where he needs to go, but I feel like if I put him out first, it's maybe it won't make a difference. We'll find out here. I'll switch it up and go the other way. So yeah, he still got in there in time for the decent amount of spark, so I guess it doesn't really matter which way I unleash them as long as they are unleashed. It looks like Felneus was able to get a little bit more spark in there as well, because Felneus does take a little bit longer to attack, but we'll see. It looks like Felneus' attack just starts as the spark starts to hit, so I guess I can stick with that attack pattern. I'll just start with Behemoth from now on. And now we have all of our Brave Bursts back, so we'll actually get to test it out this time and see if it works. I'm going to assume that the buffs take effect almost immediately, or at least maybe it'll pick up halfway through. I'm not really sure, but either way, there's really no other way of testing it on this level because that's just the way it is. The enemies are just too weak to stand up to me right now. But either way, as you can see, just the damage in general and the amount of spark we're getting is absolutely huge. So, alright, here we go. Everybody unleashing huge amounts of spark there. So much spark that it is just absolutely throwing everything to a crawl, an absolute standstill. Now, I do have lag issues from time to time anyway, but that's just the way it is when you have that much happening at once. So let's see what we get out of this. Some attacks are still going. I guess that's Felneus. Destroyed all 4 of them. And we got everything back. All of our Brave Burst, all of our Super Brave Burst, everything, and that was 4 enemies. So we're going to repeat this just to see if it stays that way. Same attack pattern. And we'll see what happens. Now, I'm sure, as you can guess, the abilities themselves are on other monsters as well, so there is a possibility of using other people to make this strategy work. I believe it works best with Felneus and Behemoth because Behemoth has both the leader skill and the Super Brave Burst that gives extra damage to Spark, and then obviously Felneus has the Super Brave Burst and leader skill that do very well with that. Here, you also don't need to run 2 Felneus. If anyone has been suggesting or is planning on using 2 Felneus, it's really not needed. Because as you can see here, we got everything back, and there was really just no other way to go about it. So, tons and tons of damage, tons and tons of Brave Burst. This is just an awesome, awesome strategy to use. I highly recommend it if you have the ability to make this team work. And this is actually something that may work out very well when it comes time for the Frontier Hunter, which is actually only a few days away, which I am so stoked for. Cannot wait to get this team into action. So I highly, highly suggest this, and yeah, if you have any other questions, or if you have any other suggestions, make sure that you leave them down in the comments, and don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Take it easy, guys.